Good morning, children. Let's continue with physiography and drainage. Okay. Now here we are going to study the drainage of India and Brazil. Now look at the map here, which shows the main rivers of India. Okay. So here rivers are usually in India. We have classified rivers as North Indian rivers and Peninsula rivers. Okay. Now, North Indian rivers are perennial rivers because they get rainfall. Okay, they get plenty of water. Okay, not only from the melting of snow or glaciers, but also from the monsoons. On the other hand, we find peninsular rivers are usually seasonal and they get water only during the monsoons. Okay. Now, let's come to drainage of India. As I told you, rivers in India are classified into two types. Okay, one is the Himalayan rivers and then the peninsular rivers or Himalayan rivers. They are also called as North Indian rivers. Okay, now Himalayan rivers. Why are the rivers known as Himalayan rivers? Because they have their source in the Himalayas. Okay, they originate from glaciers. So what happens in summer is when the glaciers melt, a huge volume of water is discharged, okay, into the rivers. And at the same time, during the monsoons, they get plenty of rainfall and they get flooded. They are therefore perennial rivers, that is, they have water throughout the year. Now, in India, we have two major river systems, okay. So, based on drainage, we have two major river systems. One is the Sindhu river system, also called the Indus river system, and the Ganga river system. The Sindhu river system consists of the Indus as well as its tributaries, and the Ganga river system consists of the Ganges and its tributaries. Okay. Now, the Sindhu river system. Okay. The river Sindhu, together with its tributaries, the tributaries are Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi and Satluj. They drain the western Himalayas, that is, they flow through Jammu and Kashmir and almost parallel to each other. Okay, so look at the rivers here. Okay, so this is the river Indus with its tributaries. Okay, we have Chenab, okay, Satluj, Byas, Jhelum. Okay, so if you look at this, you will find all of them are flowing parallel to each other. They rise in the Himalayas and they flow, okay, parallel to each other and they open into the Arabian Sea. Okay, so the river Indus, together with tributaries like Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi and Satluj, they drain from the western part of the Himalayas and they flow through Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, Satluj is a major tributary of the river Sindhu and it originates near Mansarovar and flows westwards. Okay, so Satluj is the most important tributary of the river Indus or the Sindhu and it originates in Mansarovar, okay, lake and flows towards the west. Okay, Punjab, okay, as we know, Punjab means the land of five rivers. Okay, so Punjab has been drained by the rich and fertile, soil which is brought down by the river Indus and its tributaries, and there's a reason why Punjab is famous. In fact, you find it is the largest producer of wheat, okay, in India. Now, river Sindhu flows through Pakistan and opens into the Arabian Sea. Okay, so can you see this? Now, so this is flowing westwards through Pakistan and opens into the Arabian Sea. Okay, next is the Ganga. Okay, Ganga rises in Gangotri Glacier and it crosses the Himalayas to become an east flowing river. Okay, so as we said, Ganga, most of the Himalayan rivers have their source in the glaciers. Okay, the Ganga river originates in Gangotri glacier and it crosses the Himalayas, and further down it is joined by the Yamuna river. Okay, Yamuna rises, okay, in the Yamunotri glacier. Okay, now another major tributary of the river Ganga flows through the northern part of the greater Himalayas and crosses Himalayas to enter India. Okay, so can you see in the map here? We have, okay, here we have Gangotri here. Now as the Ganga rises in this glacier, it comes down and it is joined by the Yamuna river. Yamuna is the main tributary of the river Ganga. At the same time, you find there are also smaller, rivers, okay, which join the Ganga along the eastern side and the western side. Okay, we have the east bank and the west bank. Okay, these are some of the rivers, Kens, Son, Betwa. Okay, along the, on the western side, we have Gangdak, Kosi. Okay, then Ghagra. All these are the various tributaries of the river Ganga, and you'll find the combined effect, the volume of water is so large that, it slowly moves towards, the Bay of Bengal. Okay, so before it opens into Bay of Bengal, the river Ganga is joined by another tributary. Okay, that is the Brahmaputra. But Brahmaputra in the Himalayan region is known as Sangpo, and then in crosses over, okay, then through Arunachal Pradesh. All right, in Bangladesh it's called Padma, and when it enters India, this is known as Brahmaputra, and Brahmaputra now joins the river Ganga and it opens into the Bay of Bengal. Okay, now I've already explained to you in physiography, I mean in the first part, okay, where we were talking about formation of deltas. Okay, so and the Ganga together with its tributary, that is the river Brahmaputra, has formed an extensive delta which is called the Sundarbans Delta. Okay, now, so as I told you, the Ganga is joined by the river Yamuna as it moves down the Himalayas. At the same time, another major tributary of the river Ganga, okay, flows through the northern part of the greater Himalayas, and then it enters India through Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, in the Himalayan region, this is known as Sangpo. Then when it crosses over the Himalayas, it is called Dehang. Okay, and along the eastern part, it is called Brahmaputra. Okay, in India we call it as Brahmaputra. Okay, now the Ganga receives Brahmaputra as its tributary in the lower reaches in Bangladesh. Okay, then as I told you, the huge volume of water and deposition of alluvium has resulted in the formation of a delta, and this is called the Sundarbans Delta. Okay, now apart from all these Himalayan rivers, I've also told you how the smaller tributaries join the Ganga on the east bank and the west bank. We have various tributaries like Chambal, Ken, Betwa, Son, Damodar, Gangdak, Ghagra, etc. Okay, now next let us come to peninsular rivers. Okay, what are peninsular rivers? Okay, peninsular rivers are those which flow along the peninsular region. Okay, we have various rivers like, we have Tapi, Narmada, then Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. Okay, so these are major peninsular rivers. Okay, the peninsular river system can be divided as east flowing rivers meeting the Bay of Bengal and the west flowing rivers meeting the Arabian Sea. Now, because of the tilt of the Deccan Plateau, you find the rivers which rise in the Western Ghats flow towards the Bay of Bengal. Okay, That is why we say the Western Ghats forms a great divide, and it divides rivers into the rivers which flow westward, meeting the Arabian Sea, and those which meet the Bay of Bengal, that is, which flows into the east. The rivers which which flow in the peninsular India are usually rain-fed. Okay, they do not have the source in glaciers. That is why we say they are seasonal rivers and they do not cause flooding. Okay, next is west flowing rivers. Now, as I told you, the Western Ghats forms a great divide. Okay, west flowing rivers are seen towards the between the Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea coastline. Okay, and most of these rivers are short and swift, and they can be seen in the states of Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and southern Gujarat. Okay, then these rivers open into the Gulf of Khambat. They are the Narmada, Tapi, Mahi, and Sabarmati. The Loni River rises in towards the western side of the Ravi Ranges, and it flows into the Gulf of Kutch. Okay, so look at these rivers. Okay, as I told you, the rivers which rise in the western part of the Western Ghats, they're short and swift, and they do not form deltas. Okay, you have Narmada, you have Tapi, Mahi, Sabarmati, etc., which flows into the Arabian Sea. Then we have Loni also. Okay, can you see? Loni rises along the western part of the Aravallis, and it flows into the Gulf of Kutch. Okay. Now, let us come to the rivers which meet the Bay of Bengal. Okay. Now, most of the area in Peninsula region is drained by the rivers which flow into the Bay of Bengal. We have many, great rivers like Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, etc., which are seen to the northeastern part of the peninsula. Okay. Now, can you see these rivers? Okay, we have the Godavari here. Okay, Kaveri. Okay, then Mahanadi River. Okay, so these are some rivers of Peninsula region. Okay. Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri originate in the eastern part or the eastern slopes of the Western Ghats. Okay. Now, in terms of catchment area, okay, that is the area which is drained by a river. Okay. So, in terms of catchment area, you find Godavari is the second largest river system in India. Then, towards the south of the Godavari River, we have the Krishna River. Important tributaries of the Krishna River are Bhima and Tungabhadra. Okay. Kaveri river system flows through Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Okay, so Kaveri river flows through the states of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. This river, especially the Kaveri river, is very, very important because it has been, harnessed for a long time, since, the 2nd century AD. Okay, so can you see the Kaveri river here? Okay, this is the Kaveri river. Okay, tributaries of the river Krishna, we have Bhima and Tungabhadra. Okay, this is Bhima. Okay, this is the Godavari river. Okay, can you see? Okay, now, so rivers of Peninsula India, okay, are important rivers which flow east. You'll have to remember Narmada, Tapi, okay, Sabarmati, Mahi, etc. Then rivers which flow towards the east, that is the Bay of Bengal. We have Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, etc. Okay. Then important tributaries of the river Krishna are Bhima and Tungabhadra. Kaveri is very, very important because, this, first of all, is, this river is a bone of contention between the states of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, okay, as it flows through these two states. And it has also been important because this river has been used or harnessed for irrigation since the 2nd century AD. Okay, so children, go through this lesson. We have completed lesson number 3 here. Okay, so whatever questions, whatever, you can go through this video here, all right, and then, whatever, in case any you have got any say map pertaining to the lesson, okay, you'll have to go through the map given here. Okay, now this very, very important, where you will have to, you'll have to go through the main rivers of India, that is the Himalayan rivers as well as Peninsula rivers. Okay, you'll have to please go through the source, okay, the source of the river, okay, and that is from where it rises, okay, that is very, very important, and the oceans and seas which surround India, okay. Go through, try locating the Mansarovar Lake, okay, Gangotri Glacier, you have Yamunotri, okay, then again Brahmaputra, which also rises in Mansarovar, and it is known as Sangpo, okay, and Dihang before it enters India, all right, where it is known as Brahmaputra. Also, try locating the largest delta in the world, that is the Sundarbans Delta. Okay, children, so go through the video here, all right, thank you.